hope that it's one of your favorites. Here he is singing Blues in the Night. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Stafford. Joe Stafford.
And he does, and it's caught! Touchdown! Chris Matthews! How crazy.
With the first pick in the 2009 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Joe Stafford, quarterback, Georgia.
Good kick up into the air. It is loose and recovered by Seattle. Chris Matthews.
So let's get started.
Eminem, guess who's back? Stafford and Matthews, episode 29. We took a little bit of a hiatus. We have many moving parts on this show. Obviously, Chris is a $1 million former athlete, and I just not graduated, just became a senior at college, which is terrifying. As you can see from the background, I'm finally home for the summer. I'm excited. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on there. But we're here to talk some football. But before we do that, Chris, Kev, I missed you guys. What's going on, guys? How we doing?
Oh, man, how is things going? How was your vacation?
Yeah. So if you guys didn't know, I went to Florida, Tampa Bay, visited the stadium. It was really cool. So Tom Brady's autographed Super Bowl helmet on display. That was fucking dope. I did a whole photo shoot with a Keyshawn Johnson Bucks jersey from like 2002. That was really cool. Yeah, no, I got the throwbacks. You can see the Terrell Owens kind of in the center here. It was a great trip, though. Me and my girlfriend had a great time. Great vibe down there. Shout out to my cousin Shane for taking such good care of us down there. Stayed in an unbelievable hotel. I mean, I'm talking like 5-star ocean view. I'll show you guys later, but it was crazy. And I made a video on my personal Instagram if you guys want to go check it out too.
Really broke around here.
Yeah, no, I worked my ass off to save for that vacation. I spent all of it, so I need to start making some money. But yeah. All right, so before we dive into any NFL stuff, I have one comment to make on a recent controversial thing that's been going on in the world of sports. So basically, if you guys haven't heard about Kyrie Irving and the racism and remarks about Boston, you're living under a rock because it's been all over social media, all over SportsCenter, all over every podcast out there. And I want to address it. So basically, if you guys haven't heard about it yet or seen the video or read the transcript, Kyrie Irving was asked about literally basketball, as he always is, because that's what he plays. And he took it to another level, as he always does, even though he claims to be all about strictly basketball. That's problem number one I have, and I'll kind of elaborate on that as I go along here. But basically, he said, I'm looking forward to returning to Boston. It's my first time being an opponent. Hopefully nothing bad happens. And then a reporter questioned him what he meant by bad. He said any blatant or subtle racism started going in on the Boston dynamic and was not talking about the team so much, but as talking about the region and the fans. And then Katie chimed in, we all know how it is in Boston, and it became really a controversial topic to be talking about here, especially in my era, being from Boston. I want to make one thing clear. I don't stand for any racism. I think that's horribly wrong. If people are taunting and throwing around racial slurs or stereotypes or anything, I don't believe in that. I think it's wrong 100%. That being said, I don't believe Boston is inherently racist region. I don't. I mean, it might have been that way long ago during busing, during the 60s, 70s. That may all be true during the Larry Bird era, even in the 80s. Fine. You might have it there. But as long as I've been alive, I've been going to Celtics games, been going to Patriots games, going to Bruins games, and I've seen nothing but respect for people from my section. Nobody even respect from any of my friends that go. Any strangers sitting next to you, I've had nothing but good things to say about all of them. Yeah, I might get a little too drunk, might yell a little bit. They don't say anything racist. They don't say anything like that. Number two, Kyrie, you always talk about how you want to stick to basketball. You always talk about how you want to focus on basketball, but then you somehow have a magnet to go towards social justice within 5 seconds of being asked a basketball question. You were asked about the game coming up because everyone doesn't want to see you in Boston. That's not because you're black. It's because everyone fucking hates you in this area. The reason why is because you're a little rat. You went on national television on a commercial with your father in the Garden saying, I want 11 to be in the rafters one day. I want to retire a Boston Celtic. He went on, not on a podcast. He was on the floor in a preseason the year before he left saying, I am going to resign. He announced it to a crowd full of people before a preseason game and then backed out again. You are not being hated on because of your race. You're being hated on because you're a scumbag that no one likes in the region because of your actions. Nothing to do with your race. KD also chimed in. I can't speak to his experience because I think people relatively actually enjoy KD in Boston. We almost had him. He was our second option in free agency before we chose the Warriors just a few seasons ago. Can't speak to his experience. All I'm going to say is I want to defend the region of Boston. I think it's very unfair and harsh to, kind of brush aside these allegations and kind of paint a broad picture that's not necessarily accurate of the entire region. Yes, there's racism everywhere. That's undeniable. That's just how the world works. It exists everywhere. But to broadly paint stroke an entire region as being inherently racist, blatantly racist, and being hateful is despicable. And I think Kyrie Irving, you're wrong for doing that. Chris, I think you can speak more to this as a former athlete, maybe even facing some of this stuff. What can you say in response to Kyrie, in response to me about this topic?
Well, I can speak from experience that I've been in certain I'm not gonna name any names or any areas because I know that it's not the actual organization that was doing the racial it was saying racial slurs or anything like that. But there were certain places that I was at in certain stadiums where I was playing and the crowd is literally right there on you and you can hear and feel everything. And there were racial slurs being thrown around very loosely, at players and even at coaches at the time I was playing. So I can understand that. I think what it is, and I think that it's not as big as people are trying to make it seem that it is right now. It's a strategy. It's a strategy that he's trying to implore on the Boston nation, if you want to say that, to get them to to second guess when they should probably yell or when they should, say something that might, that's not in the context of something that's negative or racially slurred. You know what I'm saying? It's just that extra little, all right, let me try to put them in check real quick so I can go out there and give them a clean 40. Because I think that he's going to give you guys a clean 40 one of these nights. But I didn't take nothing to it. I mean, I've been to Boston. I've never experienced racism in the Boston area, but I'm just one person. There's millions of other people out there that probably could, and they probably did, and they probably didn't. Who knows? I don't know. I wasn't affected by it. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. That's why it's a little bit of a twist, I think, to the whole thing. I think it's more so he's just trying to get the crowd in check because we know that in the Celtics fan base can get a bit rowdy out there, and it can affect the game. Somebody that might who experiences mental health like Kyrie wants to check that. I think that's what it is. And then it's kind of going left because of maybe he didn't word it the right way, or maybe it's just out of context. I don't know. But for me personally, I don't believe that it's just all based on racism. But at the same time, I do want to take out this small little part where you said, as soon as somebody asks you about about something about basketball, he's automatically quick to bring up racial inequality. I feel like in this time, in this day and age, that's very well granted. If you can find any way to expose racial inequality, why not bring it up? When you have the platform that you have, why not bring it up? If there's a better way for you to convey that message or get out what you actually want to get out to the public, there might be a better way. Maybe that wasn't the best way for him to get that off, but nonetheless, if you can, then do it. I had nothing against it. Like I said before when we was off air, I didn't watch the video of him saying anything of this, so I didn't get to watch and see how he actually worded it and got his message across. But just reading from what I read and listening to you, I can see where things could get a little bit twisted.
Oh yeah. First of all, great points, level what you said. But to clarify my position, I was not criticizing Kyrie Irving for speaking about social justice. I was citing him as being a hypocrite.
No.
Right. I was citing him as being a hypocrite because of all of his talk about wanting to stick to basketball, wanting to avoid all that noise. But yet he continually comes back to that forefront. That's hypocrisy at its form. If you want to be about social justice, I have no problem with that. You can go do that. I have no problem. What I have a problem with is when you claim to not want to be involved with it during basketball season, and you want to talk about strictly basketball stuff, but then turn around 5 seconds later and talk about something else for a good 45. That's where I have the issue. And that's
I hear you.
Yeah, and that's personal to Kyrie Irving.
Yeah,
I'm singling him out. This is not about the broad strokes movement we've seen in sports the last year and a half. This is about Kyrie Irving, because I have a serious problem with who this guy is. I think this guy's a loser, to be very, very honest with you. This guy, the last time he was in the Garden, and because it was during COVID, there was no fans, literally went around with a sage and started throwing sage around to rid the building of bad spirits. This guy is a nut job. I could not wait to see him get booed out of the stadium when he probably drops 40 on us. I mean, you're probably right. He's going to drop 40 on us. The Celtics are looking horrific against this Brooklyn Nets team. But I just want to make that point before we start the actual show. I very strongly disagree with Kyrie Irving said. Maybe not about the actual actions of what he said, but how he said it and how he continues to act, despite what he claims to be and what he claims to be trying to do during basketball season. That's where I have the issue.
But this is the thing. I think where it's always going to be a little bad, negative light to him, because this is something this has done happen with him throughout his whole career. Every time he brings something, something gets brought up, he goes one way, then he goes the other way. So I see where you're coming from, and like I said, I don't see anything negative to any of this, to be honest with you. You voicing your opinion because you're proud to be where you're from. You're proud of your team. You know what I'm saying? So I understand all of that, and it's rightfully so. You should be able to express your thoughts and your feelings.
Most definitely. I think open dialogue is the best thing in this country, and that's the only thing that's going to solve any issues we have. So, guys, talk about stuff with your friends. Don't be afraid to express your opinions about stuff. That's how you don't get stuff resolved. If you don't talk about it, it gets bottled up, and then it becomes an issue. Okay, enough about that kind of stuff. We're going into NFL stuff. Things that actually are happening on this podcast is mirrored here. Aaron Rodgers is currently in Hawaii with actor Miles Teller, his girlfriend Shania Woodley, I believe her name is. They both starred in Insurgent, wherever the hell that movie was. Anyway, living it up, living his best life in Hawaii right now on vacation, while Packers OTAs have officially commenced. This is not a surprise. A lot of people expected Rodgers to sit out OTAs because of the contract dispute and because of his ongoing beef with the Packers front office. He made it clear on social media and through other interviews that he wanted to make it clear that he had no problem with the Packers coaching staff, roster, city, ownership, nothing. It was specifically the front office he has a very, very big issue with. And I really can't really blame him. I really can't blame him at all. But the interesting part about this, because the Rodgers sitting out OTAs, like I said, is not surprising. The surprising fact was that the top 5 receivers, not just Devontae Adams and Allen Lazard, the top 5 receivers for the Green Bay Packers were absent from the first couple of days of OTAs in response to Rodgers sitting out. They are supporting their quarterback. Before I give my take, Chris, would you do the same for Russell Wilson?
Oh, that's the spot right there. I mean, if it was something that, it all depends on the circumstances, I would say. If you're in a light where, you have your contract, you're good for a couple years, yes, very well. I feel like you should back that up. Now, if you're not, and you're one of the guys who's still trying to break through, try to break through the team, absolutely not. You need to be there and do what you need to, and make sure they see you every day. So I think it just depends on, I think it just depends on who you are. You said the top 5 receivers. This is my first time hearing about this. I didn't even know that this happened. Top 5 for sure. I would say, really, honestly, only one could really just not show up to OTAs. Everybody else, I feel like you should probably be there. I'm not saying that you're not good. I'm not saying none of that stuff. I'm just saying you should probably be there. The only guy who is established and is able to shift somebody's opinion in the wide receivers, in the wide receiver room, in my personal belief, is Devontae Adams. So, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, it's a team thing. They're all rooting for their quarterback. Like I said, it just depends on your situation. If would I do it? I really want to answer this question, Joe. It's just hard.
Okay, how about this? Post Super Bowl 49. Not training camp, like literally, like say like OTAs. Like you just became one of the most known national figures, or at least regional figures in Washington. You literally just had one of the best games of your career. You are on the up and up. You are looking to become a superstar in the league. Right after that, do you sit it out?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay, that's your final answer. That's a fun answer to have. On your point about Devontae Adams, yes, he's the only guy in this locker room you should be sitting out right now because he's the only guy that guaranteed a job. That is the number one thing. I think you're speaking from a point of financial security, which is definitely smart. That's the business and marketing major. I knew you were at Kentucky. I understand that 100%. In terms of supporting their quarterback, I liked the notion, like the gesture. I like the gesture in itself. Maybe for a couple days, but guys, you got to get back to work. I mean, and I know it's not required stuff, so I know it's a little bit less of a controversial thing, trying to make a point and everything. But I think the real story here is just the complete and utter mismanagement of a star quarterback in the NFL.
Absolutely.
In a time where passing is the dominant norm of offense, in a time where you're dealing with some of the most talented quarterbacks of all time, we just got out of an era that featured Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, and Rodgers is included in that group. And and Peyton Manning even put him into. And you're telling me, arguably one of the most probably arguably the most talented quarterback of all time, after an MVP season, after you led him to the NFC Championship game, in which he lost that game not only on his fault, but your coaching staff's fault because you didn't kick the field goal, didn't run the ball. You somehow have managed to piss that guy off yet again after drafting the last 10 drafts defensive outside drafting his successor in Jordan Love a couple years ago. I mean, this is just mind-boggling, guys. We could have managed the situation better. I would put Kevin in the GM seat before any of these guys in the front office. This is ridiculous. I can't really believe it's gotten to this point. And now he's in Hawaii waiting for his trade. I'm not sure if he's going to get it. If he does, I hope he goes to Denver. That's just a personal opinion. But it's just wild to me how mismanaged this entire situation has become for Aaron freaking Rodgers. Mr. State Farm, Mr. Discount Double Check, Mr. Bell, Super Bowl champion, 3-time MVP. This is getting ridiculous, guys. Fix the situation or trade him, because the longer this lags out, the worse it looks for your entire organization.
Right. I feel you on that. I feel like there's been countless times where quarterbacks have expressed their frustrations to the media and had their quarrels settled amicably. So why can't Aaron Rodgers get the same thing? I just feel like it's one of those. It's just in Green Bay to be like this. I mean, like I've said this before in episodes before. Like, they're trying their best to move on from Aaron Rodgers before it's too late, and they're trying to let Love get in here and be the next successor to Aaron Rodgers. That's all this looks like to me. But the only mishap is that Aaron Rodgers is still in his prime. Like, he's still competing with 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds who are out here throwing up ridiculous numbers and running now. Like, these guys are actually running the ball, when you know that quarterback is usually the guy who sits in the pocket and throws the ball and gets the yards in other ways. So for that to be, for him to still beat out these young guys who are a lot stronger and faster than him, and he's still winning the MVPs and things like that, to me, I would listen to my quarterback and see how I can help him get ahead in this game. And it's not like Green Bay is 5 or 6 pieces away from a Super Bowl. They're literally, he's literally saying, we need one more receiver. That's all he wants, is one more receiver. Maybe a defensive back, you know what I'm saying? But that's not his side. He's worrying about offense. So one receiver, and they keep on looking past it and going off. Russell Wilson is talking about his whole front line, and they go out there and they're trying to rectify the whole situation. He's asking for one person, and they can't get over that. It doesn't make sense to me, and I just don't get it.
And it's funny because you bring that up, talk about one more receiver. The Green Bay front office had a very, very, very realistic shot of acquiring Will Fuller at the deadline this year, a speed guy to go along with Devontae Adams for a second-round draft pick. The front office ready to pull the trigger, but then suddenly it was split down the middle. They could not come to a consensus, so they did not make the trade. He ended up finishing the year on the suspended list if I'm correct. I believe he tested positive for a PED. Regardless, ended up going to Miami. Yeah, and ends up going to Miami in free agency.
Yeah.
Speaking of receivers the Packers could possibly get, we've been away for a while, guys, and this rumor's been boiling for just a little bit. I won't throw in a I told you so moment, because for the past 4 months, I've been slamming the table saying Julio Jones will get traded this offseason, and what the hell has been in the news? Julio Jones trade rumors everywhere. I cannot go on social media, Instagram, Twitter, watch TV, Sports Center, ESPN. I can't watch any of that without seeing Julio Jones' name come up in trade discussions. There are a couple teams that we have narrowed the list down to in which he still has significant interest. The first and probably most likely situation he wants to walk into is the Tennessee Titans. Tighten up, Tennessee man. Titans. You would say 49ers? Oh my God, Chris. Titans. All right. I can't get over that. Titans. Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, AJ Brown want to bring in Julio Jones, and the feeling is mutual. The entirety of AJ Brown's social media right now is dedicated to bringing Julio Jones in. He's making TikToks, posting Instagram and Snapchat stories. He is going full Jim Harbaugh recruiting mode. That's what he's doing right now. It's really, really funny. In terms of fit, I love it. I love the fit. The problem right now is coming down to the price, and that's starting to knock off a lot of people that are becoming interested in Julio Jones for a pretty good reason, I think. Other teams that are interested that I know of that Julio Jones has at least interest in, the New England Patriots. That's not biased. That's an actual fact. That's being reported on. I swear to God, I'm not being biased. Apparently, he wants to play with Cam Newton. I don't know why the hell he'd want to do that. Cam Newton is horrific at playing quarterback now. I don't get it. But apparently, he wants to join up with his former NFC South division rival. That's up to him. I mean, that's on him. If he wants to do it, he can do it. That's his purview right now. Another team, which was name dropped by none other than our boy Chris Matthews with an inside source, the Los Angeles Chargers are on Julio Jones' radar, wants to team up with Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen to form a tremendous receiving core out in LA and look to become the number one team in that region for the first time in a very, very long time. The price is the problem. I mentioned this earlier. The price is what's driving the discussion right now. And the fact Julio Jones went on Sports Center, not Sports Center, on First Take. No, what did he go on? Sharp and
Shannon.
Yeah, skipping Shannon. Yeah, basically, I still can't believe this actually happened. Sharp called him on the phone. Julio, not really realizing he's on actual live national television, says, "Nah, bro, I'm out of there." Starts kind of dishing the Atlanta area a little bit, the Falcons organization, and says he's absolutely not going to the Cowboys. So that was tough enough for the Cowboys fans alone. But for Atlanta, that is a crushing blow. There goes any type of leverage out the door.
Yeah.
You know, he knows he's gone. There's no leverage to be had, but they're still seeking a first-round pick. I would be shocked if they got a first-round pick. There's a couple reasons why. Firstly, like I said, no leverage. And two, Julio Jones has now had 3 consecutive injuries on his lower body. Hamstring, foot, ankle. He's 32. That is not a good combination. Am I saying Julio Jones is washed up? No. That's a foolish thing to say because he'll prove you wrong every single time you doubt him. And as a comparable thing, Julian Edelman with a bum ankle won Super Bowl MVP at the same age with the same similar injury history. Anything can happen. If Julian Edelman can win Super Bowl MVP at 32 with the same injuries, Julio Jones can be an All-Pro.
Yeah.
That's how that comparison works. Julio Jones is that much better than Edelman, so it should work out that way. The Falcons need to lower their asking price. Realistically, I see it being a second-round pick to the Titans. I'm not sure if that even is going to work out here. The Titans could realistically balk. And how Bill Belichickian would it be to slide in after all suitors leave, offer a 3rd and 7th round draft pick, and scoop up one of the best receivers of my lifetime? That's my wet dream right there. That I dreamed about that a couple nights ago. That would be the ideal scenario. Chris, what are your thoughts about Julio Jones trade rumors right now, and what do you think his perfect fit is?
Well, I mean, for sure, I'm just gonna knock him off as quick as possible. Patriots, absolutely not. He literally embarrassed you guys in the end zone and snatched a ball out of another grown man's hand and laid him on his back.
I was at that game. I remember that so vividly.
So I know you was cussing him out.
I wasn't.
Cussing out and the defensive coordinator. I know you had to because it was one-on-one coverage and they're inside the red zone. I need two people. Calvin Johnson rule him. Get him out there.
Hey Chris,
shut him down.
You know who he mossed?
Yeah, I know exactly who he mossed. The guy who they should have allowed me to moss.
Oh, I was going to say, you know who it was. You know who it was.
Exactly. I already know exactly who it is. But yeah, boom, canceling them out. Chargers, cool. I think that would be a phenomenal fit. Honestly, they're on the up and up, and even if they don't get him, I think they're still going to do a phenomenal job in their division. They're actually a really, to me, in my eyes, they've been a scary team for the past couple of years. There's just injuries. It's just been has plagued them from year in and year out with players who with players who they've invested a lot of money in, a lot of draft picks in, Derwin James, Bosa, Eckler when he was hurt and he had his little injury. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot that's been plaguing him. But if you can get all of these guys on the field and running at the same time throughout this year, they're going to be a real team to really be to mess with. Because even with all those players hurt, you still got Keenan Allen, you still got Mike Williams, you still got Justin Herbert. Who else you got?
You had Hunter Henry, not anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's gone. He's with you guys now. He's on Love It over there, but you still had all these players, and they were still doing a good job. So I just feel like you get all those guys together, and then you add Julio Jones into the mix. That might be lights out right there. But let me just paint this picture for you. So we know that when Julio Jones came into the league, off top, he already had Hall of Famers, legends all around the NFL wanting to work out with this guy, wanting to be around him to see what kind of guy he is, how hard does he actually work. all of this stuff. And then, of course, you back that up with all the hard work, and then you actually go out there and you play to arguably one of the best, you can call him one of the best receivers in the game. So right now, with his plays, he's done had 300-yard games, 200-yard games, a plethora of 100-yard games, and maybe not as many touchdowns as you would want to see, but that comes with with the NFL and people trying to crack down on you to keep you from embarrassing them. But we all know that Julio Jones is a receiver that you cannot leave unnoticed, right? So with that being said, everybody knows him. We just watched Shannon Sharp call this guy on his phone, on his personal phone, and surprise him with some information going on, with everything that's going on in behind the scenes, right? Do you know who Julio Jones, well, first off, do you know where Julio Jones resides at during the offseason?
Atlanta.
LA. So that LA is a place of stars. Everybody wants to come here. Patrick Mahomes is living in the hills right now. You got everybody that's over here. Do you know who he looks to and looks up to and trains with and sees on a day in, day out basis in LA?
Chris
and
Matthews?
It's not Shannon Sharp. No, I wish. We've hung before. We've hung out before, but we're not close like that. But guess.
Derrick Henry.
No. Terrell Owens. Where did Terrell Owens start off his whole career at?
Bama, right? Oh, he went to Chattanooga.
Yeah, I'm talking about NFL.
49ers.
Okay. I don't think that he ended off. He ended off on a bad note. Look,
wow.
Just watch where I'm going with this. This is a guy who everybody loved when Jerry Rice was on. He started. I'm not even gonna say Jerry Rice was going downhill. He just plateaued at one point in time. Way at the top, and he just plateaued and stayed there. When that started happening, who was the next guy to come in? Terrell Owens. You guessed it. This guy right here was out there making ridiculous catches between two people, getting knocked out of the game, still scoring touchdowns, making everybody better around him. And, and had to move on to get his money where he wanted, to get his money in the NFL. He didn't leave on per se a bad note. He just left because he wanted to go get more money. So that means he still has those connections down there in San Fran. He's a great guy. You know what I'm saying? They started off, I've been trying to tell you this from back in the day, Joe, when I said Kyle Shanahan, he's a great coach, but this isn't the type of coaching that we need around to help us win Super Bowls for the 49ers. Did I not say that, Joe?
Chris,
said that.
Well, I know what I'm doing right now. As you can see in the window, I'm playing Madden right now because it's the only fucking universe that's going to happen in. That's what I'm doing.
Listen, Joe, I'm just saying, man, Terrell Owens has a plug in the 49ers. They are very close friends. They train together literally every day. You don't think that this would be a potential place for him to go to?
Chris, I'm not going to lie.
It would only make sense.
Honestly, I'm impressed. Like, this is what you did. If you guys are watching on video here, you started like this, right? This is your argument. And you went like this. And you stretched and you stretched and you stretched and you somehow made it fit. I'm more impressed you actually have that made like a little bit of sense than actually laughing about how ridiculous it is. Like that is really impressive. The fact you could do that, very impressive. It's impressive.
How is this? We have a young receiving core, which can only get better. We have a young quarterback who's eventually going to take over the reins, who probably might need a little extra security blanket for a pass that per se, a rookie would make that a veteran could catch.
Okay. I mean, okay. Okay.
Wait, I've got a question for both of you.
Look, Joe, I'm just trying to pull these shots like how you guys pull with the Patriots every time we come on here on this show. Every time we text each other, you talk about the Patriots. Every time we FaceTime each other or we on Instagram together, y'all bring up the Patriots. Like, I just want to bring up the 49ers just a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just a little bit so I can match you guys.
Remember your Deshaun Watson phase where for 5 straight episodes all you talked about was the 49ers and Deshaun Watson? That was fun. Kev, what's up?
I've got a question for both of you. All bias aside, what do you think Julio's perfect fit is?
I'm thinking Tennessee, honestly. I really do think that's probably the best place for him.
To be honest with you, if
actually, fuck that. Green Bay.
Thank you, Joe. I wish you
Wow.
were here right now. I wish he was here right now. Green Bay. If he's not mad at the coaching staff, the owner, none of them, it's just the front office, which we all know that's the GM and the VP and all that. If it's them, I don't see it really happening. But if they still want a chance to win a Super Bowl and to try to muster up whatever else that they can muster up to try to make this work at least until Love, you know what I'm saying, is ready to actually play, I would go out and get Julio Jones. And I'm more than sure Aaron Rodgers would leave Hawaii right then and there and come back to Green Bay to go to OTAs and practice with him.
I gotta go back to work.
Yeah, I'm out.
No, I like that a lot. I don't know how I didn't say that before.
Yeah, that would work.
Before you even brought up Julio, I was tying that in. That was my transition piece. How Julio and Green Bay made a lot of sense. I don't know how I didn't say Green Bay right off the bat. 100%. It's Green Bay. It's Green Bay for me. All right, quick rookie report from OTAs. Trevor Lawrence looking phenomenal as always. We'll talk about Jaguars training camp in a little bit as well, because another guy I want to talk about in just a few minutes here. Another guy, rookie quarterback, Mac Jones, the New England Patriots draft selection at 15, is apparently looking pretty impressive early in camp. Nothing overly crazy, but picking the playbook up fairly quickly and looking pretty sharp with his throws. Side note for the Patriots training camp, if you guys cared, if you guys didn't think it was already obvious, Brian Hoyer, Jarrett Stidham, and Mac Jones. Those are the other 3 quarterbacks on the roster not named Cam Newton and are all above him on the depth chart in terms of production so far in OTAs. They've all outperformed Cam Newton. Brian Hoyer outperformed Cam Newton. Jarrett Stidham outperformed Cam Newton. And Mac Jones outperformed Cam Newton so far in OTAs.
That's what they're saying?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Every report I'm reading is that. They've all outperformed Cam Newton.
They're trying to get my Cam up out of there.
Okay, you want to take him? I don't want him. I'm trying.
Let Trey Lance learn.
I'm trying to be all about love and positivity right now. I'm not trying to let this get me down. I'm not going to talk about Cam Newton right now. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to discuss Cam Newton right now. I'm going to stay positive. Peace, love, and serenity, gentlemen. That's what I'm going with right now. All right, another rookie report out of the Chicago area. Justin Fields. The coaching staff is already in love with his alpha mentality. Shocker, he might start over Randy Dalton. Was this even a surprise to most people? No, it wasn't. Do I still think Andy Dalton probably starts? Yes, because I don't think Justin Fields will be ready right off the bat. Would I like to see him right off the bat? Yeah, I would, because Chicago would be a hell of a lot more exciting to watch Justin Fields than with Andy freaking Dalton. Do you want to see what the bet would be this year with Andy Dalton? Look at the Cowboys last year. That's what they'd be. It's the same exact thing. It's the same quarterback. It's basically the same team with a better defense. That's what you're looking at. I'm sorry, that's what it is. So if you want to win and take a kind of a wild card look at it, you want to start Fields. If you want to take the safe route, make sure Fields develops into the quarterback you want him to be, start Dalton. You're not going to win a Super Bowl this year anyway with either of them. It doesn't really matter. It's a development year. So take your time, figure it out, but don't expect much if you're starting Andy Dalton.
Who's winning the Super Bowl, Joe? Who's winning it? Give me a prediction right now. Tom Brady?
It's OTA. I'm not giving you a prediction right now. Give me till training camp. I'll give you one in training camp. When training camp starts, I'll give you one, all right?
Oh my God. Tom Brady threw over 20 yards in OTAs. He's winning. He's gonna win.
All right. I'll give you one at the start of training camp. Start of training camp. If Tom Brady's still alive, I will give you a prediction. Okay. Another quick topic to touch on here, and kind of a controversial one, and I have a tough time understanding why. Maybe you guys can speak to this. I don't really know if you guys agree with this or not. Tim Tebow. Tebow Mania. The guy who lit it up for the Denver Broncos at quarterback, who won a playoff game against Ben Roethlisberger, who became a minor league Mets baseball player, who became an analyst for the NCAA and college football Saturdays, is back in the league. 10 years after his last snap. 10. A decade. I was 10 years old the last time this guy played in the NFL. I'm a grown-ass man now. He's back in the league and not a quarterback at tight end. And if you guys haven't seen the pictures, this dude is bulked up. This guy could squash a watermelon by putting it here and not even flexing. He just squeeze it down and that thing would pop the fuck open. Tim Tebow is looking huge right now. And people are really pissed that Urban Meyer, first-year NFL coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Tim Tebow, as former head coach of Florida, brought him in. And I don't really get why. Yeah, he might not be the number one option for a lot of people in the NFL community, and there's a reason why. He wasn't a great quarterback. That's why he only played 3 seasons and really only started 1.5. But if it's up to an NFL coach, there's 90 players on the roster during OTAs and training camp, he should be allowed to take any shot he wants with any player. I don't understand the controversial aspect of it. And people were saying, oh, it's white privilege. People were talking about how, oh, he's just doing it because he's his former, golden boy from the golden era and everything. First of all, the golden era thing, why is that even wrong? If you like a guy and think he's going to, bring a positive energy to your team and bring a positive impact to your team, why wouldn't you sign him? In terms of white privilege, I think they're comparing him to Colin Kaepernick in that aspect, which is a whole different issue I don't even want to talk about right now. It's until stuff is focused on Tim Tebow. But I don't get the Tebow hate. Yeah, he might not make the roster. Probably won't make the roster. Might even have a catch this year if he even does make the roster. But I don't understand why there's this unnecessary hate for the guy. I really don't get it. I mean, he's a lovable figure. I think it's hard to hate Tim Tebow. Yeah. Philanthropist, religious guy, family guy, devout Christian, wears his religion on his sleeve, stays out of politics. He's the guy your parents raise you to become, essentially. That's why your parents' dream kid is Tim Tebow. You should be modeling your life after the guy. He's the guy you want to exemplify and model your life after. Why is everyone shitting on it? Can you guys speak to that? I have no idea why.
I can. And I'm gonna be totally honest with you. He just knows how to win. That's all it comes down to. That's all it comes down to. Winners win. And he does that countless times. How many people do you know can go out in college, win 3 national championships, should have won 2 Hall of Fame, I mean, not Hall of Fame, 2 Heisman trophies. He only won 1. He should have won 2. It's never been done before. Should have won 2 though. And then turn around, you make it to the NFL. Then you turn around, you make it to the MLB. Then you turn around, you get a top chair in sports analyst, and you love God. He is a winner all the way around. I don't understand why people are making this hard to understand. I get the dynamic of the like you said of the Colin Kaepernick thing. I don't want to get into that either because that would lead us down a whole nother ramp. But nonetheless, if I'm Urban Myers and this is my time to shine in the NFL, why not make a splash? I remember what was the quarterback? I mean, what was the coach name that came from Oregon and he went to the Eagles? I forgot his name. He ended up being the head coach for the Eagles. Chip Kelly. Yeah. He drafted everybody from Oregon that year, or like the past 2 years. in his first 2 years. You know what he did? Had the biggest splash. Nobody could see the Eagles that those 2 years. And maybe they didn't make it as far because they didn't have a lot of health on their side. But nonetheless, nobody could hang with him because it was his first time in the league actually being a head coach and moving the reins around there. So if you know that that is something that happens in the NFL, which I truly believe Urban Meyer is a truly smart coach, he's going to come out with a bang. And then use to add this guy right here, put him anywhere. I don't care where you put him at. I personally believe he's just going to sit back and kick it. Sit in the coach's office room when the coaches is walking into the facility at 2, 3 in the morning. Guess who's going to be right there with him? You guessed it. Tim Tebow, right there with him, working out, going over the playbook, altering plays, all of this stuff. What do you see? What do you see when you see this? How about this? And how about that? And then this is going to be an extra kick up. He's going to be the first person to actually see how Trevor Lawrence really is off the field. He might be able to alter this guy, Trevor Lawrence. Let's just say Trevor Lawrence is a straight asshole. Let's just say that, even though I don't think he is, and I'm not saying that he is, but let's just put it out there for hypothetical reasons. If he is an asshole, you know the one person I believe that can actually change that man's mindset? Tim Tebow. How in the hell can you act an ass in front of somebody who is praising God day in and day out? How do you do that?
It's funny you bring that up. So I agree. Trevor Lawrence not an asshole. He's actually a devout Catholic himself. He just got married. He was a virgin or something before. It is when you think about that. I even think about that. It's a match made in heaven, really, when you think about it.
Bro,
it is
the smartest idea ever.
It is, and just to have fun with it here, Tebow will be the best Wildcat quarterback of all time.
Yes.
I'm just saying, Ronnie Brown's here, Tim Tebow's here, that's unreal. That's unbelievable. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, that's real, Joe. And I think, like I said, I think this is an amazingly smart move. Even to put his position out there to say that he's a tight end and he comes in big as hell, trying to sell the illusion because Skip and Shannon keep on telling them that he's not going to be big enough to block a defensive end. Hell, newsflash. There's people, there's 300-pounders out there who are actively starting in the NFL that can't block half of these guys on the defensive lineman. So you really think just because he put him at tight end and he bulked up that he's still going to be able to block somebody? It's absolutely no way.
Yeah, ask Ladarius Webb.
This is all just a ploy to get these guys over the hump when that rookie wall hit and they don't know what they need to be doing, or if they're like losing it mentally wise, and he's trying to bring them back in all together. And ultimately, this is my thing. Ultimately, if a guy who started off my career and made me successful because of his doing, why would I not pick him back up? Like, why wouldn't I? Yeah. That makes absolutely no sense. This guy I would trust this guy with my career for sure. If he changed it and I went from where'd he go? He went to Utah, he went to Ohio State, but he was a defensive back coach or something like that. And he was just bouncing around trying to find his way to become a head coach. And he comes from Utah, and you go to Florida, and then you blow up in Florida, and then you end up in Ohio State, the Ohio State, blow up there even larger, and now you're in the NFL. Yeah, bro, come on. I got you, man. Come on up in here. We're gonna figure something out, and then we're gonna put it on paper, and we're gonna make sure we're good. They're neighbors.
Yeah,
they're neighbors. Like, why? I don't understand how that doesn't make sense for them. Urban Meyers, man, good job, bro.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm on the bandwagon right now.
I can tell, but I'm just saying. You just convinced me it was a good move. I already thought it was, but like that was a moving speech right there. I like that monologue. That should be put in a movie or something. I like that.
It is. It should be a movie.
It should be a movie. Yeah.
It literally should be a movie. Hey, my next door neighbor put me on, man, and we end up winning the Super Bowl twice. Imagine they win a Super Bowl and they go back and win another one, all because of this dynamic.
All because of Tim Tebow, man. All because of Tim Tebow. Hey, let Lawrence play
down is the best player in the world.
Let Lawrence start the first 3 quarters and then put Tebow in. You're guaranteed to win. I'm just saying. All right, and speaking of Tebow, we've had just a whole slew of NFL comebacks or attempted comebacks right now. Today, Brandon Jacobs announced he wants to come back at 38 years old as a defensive end. That was a bonker story today. I'm not sure if he was just joking or not. Like, I don't know if that was just like a parody of Tebow's move or whatever. Got me to thinking. Chris, lace them back up.
Hey, listen.
Lace them back up.
Listen. If they are doing that, I guarantee you I could go out there and play defense end my damn self.
Okay, Chris, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, rapid fire.
Let's go.
You're at a regional combine. You're trying to make your comeback right now.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your 40-yard dash number. Give me your bench press number. And give me your vertical jump number.
Okay. So I already wasn't a fast guy. I came in running like a late 4.4. So I would give myself like a 4.5 if I really trained, 4.6 on average. Boom, right? I'd be a defensive end. I think that still be great right there. Bench press 225. I've been working out ever since. So I'm pretty sure I can hit if I like really trained to be a defensive end. I would probably hit somewhere around like 18, 19, maybe 20. You know, just realistically, I could probably hit 20 if I was like really training hard to like get that 20 number. I mean that dub piece on the bench. And vertical jump, I've always been a jumper, so give me something that's average. 30, 38, 30, 37, 38.
I don't know what the average is for vertical jump, to be honest with you. I have no idea. But yeah, we'll go with that.
Something that's average, you know.
Hey, you know what, man?
You just gotta have the technique, bro. I got the shoulders, man. I can get around there. It's just the weight, you know what I'm saying? That off the line putting their hand on me.
I'm telling you right now, I would have started you at tight end over any tight end we had in the roster last year for the Patriots.
Hey, I for sure would go in at a tight end and bust somebody's
Well,
ass.
you played in high school, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But yeah, hey, well, basically, we should tweet this out. Chris Matthews making a comeback. That's what we're gonna do.
No, absolutely not. I'm not.
Chris, I just want to break some news.
I don't have to show up to OTAs. I don't have to show up to training camp. I don't have to worry about my heels hurting, my feet hurting. I don't have to worry about little knick-knack injuries or worrying about if my hamstring is going to hurt or not. I am good playing intramural basketball down the road from my house with my homies and taking my butt home and not have to do nothing the next day.
All right, last scenario before we move on to the final piece here. No training camp, no OTAs, no practice. You show up on Sundays and that's it. Are you in or out? You're making millions.
Absolutely, I would do it.
Okay, all right. That's all I want to know. All right,
that's been my whole. I wish that could have worked for me my whole life. That's what I've been wanting. Damn all this practice. Like, let's just get to the game.
All right.
That's why I'm out the league now. Shit.
Yeah. All right, boys. Final thoughts. Let's hear them up. Kev, you go first.
Final thoughts. I just want to see more Mac Jones, less Cam Newton. And let's get preseason. Just get them to the regular season.
All right. I like that. Chris.
Hey, he's super ready. You must got your fantasy team ready, huh?
Oh, I'm ready.
He's ready. Chris, give me a final thought.
Final thoughts, man. I mean, I'm excited for this season to come up. I mean, this season coming up as well. I'm with you, Kev. I already got my fantasy team. I have like 6 fantasy teams ready just in case of where I have to draft at and all of that. Just ultimately ready to see these 17 games, see how that works out, and get ready to win a championship. And also, Joe, we can't forget about one thing that just happened.
What's up?
Your boy Adam.
Well, that's my fuck. That was my final thought. You stole it. That was my final thought. All right. Well, I guess
go ahead. No, I'm segueing you into it.
All right. Final thought. Cat's out of the bag because of Chris. Adam Vinatieri, the best kicker. I think it's like undisputed. The best kicker of all time. 4-time Super Bowl champion, 3 of which he won on his leg alone. Has officially retired at the age of 48. Adam, there's literally not a single thing I could say bad about you. Some Patriots fans would be like, oh, he left us and everything. No, Bill franchised him twice and wouldn't pay him, so he went to go get paid. You don't blame the player for that. Adam, you were nothing but a professional. You are guilty of being the best kicker of all time. That's the only way I can put it. He has the best kick of all time, individual kick, not being the best kicker. He is the best actual kick of all time. The snowball against the Raiders, 45-yard field goal into the wind during a blizzard. He hit it. We win. That starts the first Patriots dynasty. That's what kick starts. He kicks the field goal against the Rams to solidify that first year. But that kick in the snowball against the Raiders, the best kick of all time. Adam Vinatieri, you will be dearly missed. We all love and appreciate you. And this shouldn't be controversial either, but it might because he's a kicker. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
I would keep almost anyone out to get Adam Vinatieri in for the first ballot. Almost
depends on who he's going in with. Like
short of like Tom Brady and like Aaron Rodgers, I'm putting in Adam Vinatieri before anybody else.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Hey, real quick though, Joe. Besides the rings, best dynasties, who you think teams was better? 49ers, Indianapolis, or your Patriots?
Well, Indianapolis is out because they only won 1 ring, so that's not even a dynasty. We'll throw that away.
But it was a ridiculous team, though.
Yeah, but I'll throw that away because it's like I just don't think it compares.
Okay.
Niners and Patriots. I say Patriots because 1, Tom Brady's better than Joe Montana, and 2, 6 is more than 3. I know you say you're keeping rings out of it. But when I think the longevity aspect, they won 6 over the span of 20 years. Niners won 4 over the span of what? 6, 7, 8? I have no idea how long that stretch was. But because of the longevity, because of how long prolonged success that we had, I'm taking the Patriots.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's enough for Stafford and Matthews, man. Joe just made up some crazy outlandish stats. I don't even know where to even argue that Tom Brady is better than Joe Montana. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But thank you guys, man. I love you guys, man. Appreciate y'all.